guys, thanks for tuning in to another video. Today's video is going to be on the June residential real estate stats for Belleville, Quinte West, and Prince Edward County. So if you've watched previous videos, we've seen that sales volume has been down, new listings have kind of been up and down for the start of the year, median sale price hovering around that same point, no big jumps in that. But we had Bank of Canada's rate announcement and they cut interest rates. So that pent-up demand that's been supposed to come to the market once rates have been reduced, we'll see if that actually is the case in these June numbers, or if people are still a little bit weary and still sitting on the sidelines. So first of all, we'll get into new listings. So new listings in Belleville, we had 161 new listings. That's down 17% from last year, the year over year numbers. So double-digit declines in new listings for Belleville. And we see that in Quinte West as well, a 16.3% decline with 123 new listings. So these two markets mirroring each other. Quinte West new listings were actually up last month. In the month of May, they were up about 5%, and we saw sales volume down. So more inventory came to the market in Quinte West last month. That's kind of corrected back this month. In the two markets, you're just seeing a lower amount of new listings. In Belleville for the month of May, we were again down double digits for new listings. So that decline has continued with just not as much inventory coming to the market in Belleville. Prince Edward County, 101 new listings. That's down 36.1% from last year. But keep in mind, last June was the third highest month for new listings of all time in Prince Edward County. So maybe back then in 2023, people who had short-term accommodations, people who had vacation homes who needed to sell, they really wanted to list those and get out of them, whether it was they just didn't need the property anymore, or they were suffering maybe with a variable rate mortgage or what have you. So the dust has settled a little bit in Prince Edward County as far as new listings, because during this time last year, we were seeing over a year of inventory, and that months of inventory level has definitely shrunk in the county. All in all, double-digit decline for new listings in all three of these markets, which brings us to number of sales. And if you've seen these videos in the past few months, these markets have really been struggling with sales volume. We've seen lower sales volume, less transactions happening in all three of these markets, Belleville, Quinte West, Prince Edward County. And you can attribute that to market volatility, uncertainty in the market, people waiting for Bank of Canada to make a decision on whether they're going to cut rates. So Bank of Canada did cut rates, and you'd think that some buyers would come off the sidelines. There'd be a little bit more certainty in the market. So we'll see if that's the case in these June numbers. But I'll tell you right now, it's not the case. We're still seeing low sales volume across all three of these markets, starting with Belleville, 77 sales. That's down 38.4%. That's actually the lowest number of sales in a June since 2015. So almost 10 years of higher sales volume in June until this year. And keep in mind, this is following a 43% decline in May. So average the 2 months, 40% decline over the two. It's not like we saw a big drop, but we were up in May. So really, really weak sales volume in the Belleville real estate market. Quinte West, 63 sales. That's down 19.2%. That's almost a 40% decline for the month of May in Quinte West, mirroring Belleville. So you'd think sales volume's improving a little bit, but we're still down about 20%. And this makes sense if you're comparing it to new listings, because new listings are down about 20% in Quinte West, sales volume down about 20%. That checks out. Whereas last month in May, we had new listings up 5%, but sales volume was like down 40%. So there was a big delta there. Over to Prince Edward County, 39 sales, which is down 39.1%. So similar to Belleville, about 40% decline in sales volume. So really weak sales volume, but similar to Quinte West, where this sales volume is mirroring the amount of new listings coming on. So we saw way less new listings come on in the county, way less sales. And this again goes back to the point that less action going on in the county because the people that needed to sell probably did sell if they had to. People who don't need to sell are probably waiting for better market conditions. To wrap up number of sales, we're seeing very weak sales volume in all three of these markets. And this isn't just a 1 month blip. It's been the last few months that we saw this trend with just way less sales volume. So with that lack of sales volume, why aren't we really seeing a decline in prices? And that's because inventory is still low. And the reality is good homes are still selling, and sometimes selling in multiple offers. So although we see low sales volume, it's not really impacting prices that much. We're not really seeing downward pressure on prices as you'd think if you saw, a 40% decline in sales volume, 50% decline plus last month in the county. And those are definitely headline worthy stats. But prices have remained sticky, which brings us to median sale price. So Belleville median sale price, a bit of a blip here. It's actually the first time it's dipped below 500K this year, first time since November of 2023, sitting at 490,000, which is down 8.2% year over year and 5.9% year to date. So lower end homes in Belleville are still selling. They're selling quick. There's a lot of competition around them. That mid-range, as I've talked about, no change that's struggled. It's just continuing to struggle. And with that downward pressure on sales volume, we're just seeing less of those more expensive homes sell, which brings down the median sale price. But keep in mind, if we go to benchmark price on a video 2 or 3 weeks ago, benchmark price is up. So we're not seeing downward pressure on prices in general. We're just seeing lower priced homes sell more. And Belleville's a great example of that. So Quinte West, kind of different story. Median sale price sitting at 550,000. That's down 4% year over year. So still a decline year over year, but up 11.7% year to date. So similar to Belleville this month, in Quinte West in the month of January of this year, we had median sale price at about $490,000. So that just goes to show in Quinte West during that time, lower priced homes were selling, right? What brings that median sale price down. And then heading over to Prince Edward County, we see kind of a different story here. So median sale price is at $715,000. So it's up 10.2% year over year, 17.7% year to date. So despite lower sales volume, lower amount of new listings coming to the market, this shows people still have the cash to spend in the county, and people are still spending cash in the county. People have money, they want to spend it. Although sales volume's not high, you don't have a ton of new listings to choose from. If that right waterfront property pops up for somebody who has money, they're still pulling the trigger on that, which has kept median sale price high. So we can also take all of these median sale price numbers kind of with a grain of salt, because we're seeing really low sales volume over these 3 markets. And so median sale price takes all of the sales and groups them together. So with a lower amount of sales, you're going to get a less representative number because you just have less of a data set to choose from. Lots to talk about for these stats. So you'd think with Bank of Canada's rate cut, people would be anxious to get back into the market. And clearly by these June numbers, that's not the case. And once we had that rate cut in June, everybody's like, okay, when's the next rate cut in July? Let's wait till then. Let's wait till Bank of Canada decreases more. So really the takeaway from these stats, the real estate market's just not very busy. We have less new listings, lower sales volume, and people are just waiting and holding out. And that's kind of human nature. When there's uncertainty, people tend to just pause and not make any moves until there's more certainty. So with promises of rate cuts later on this year and the media kind of relaying that story and everybody anticipating these rate cuts, maybe we're in for a busier 3rd and 4th quarter of 2024 if we do see those rate cuts come. But for the time being, it's just not that busy, but prices are still holding because of the low amount of inventory. So that's it for the June residential real estate stats for Belleville, Quinte West, Prince Edward County. Thank you guys for tuning into this video, and stay tuned next week for a new video.